And you ain't black.
The Real Unwoke. And I ain't black. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? How y'all doing? I'm sure you guys can notice I have a slight cold over here. No, it's not COVID. I just got the sniffles a little bit over here, but we're gonna fare through. How we doing today? What is it today? Come on, guys. You know what it is? Teaching Tuesdays. What's happening? Who we got in the building already? We got Miss Kathy is in the house. How are you, Miss Kathy? How you doing? My boy Lee. Oh yeah, Lee. What's happening, man? How you doing, my brother? How you doing? Raquel's in the house. Guys, hit the like button. I see it. Look, I told you. You cannot be here just in the chat being a ninja watcher. All right. You got to hit the like button. It takes literally less than a millisecond to just hit it. Click. Just hit it. Just hit that like button. That's all it takes. Janet is in the house. How you doing, Janet? Appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope all is well. I hope everyone had a great day this Tuesday so far. What are we talking about? It was election day. It's election day, man. I know, right? I'm tripping. Thank you, Mama Carol. Oh my gosh. Wow, guys. Brief story. When I went to, I did my civic duty. I did vote, you know what I'm saying? But as I was going in to vote, right, I forgot that I had my hat on. So you should have saw the it was like the people were just gawking at me. There was just the stares and the awkward faces I was getting. It was crazy. I was like, what are you doing wearing that hat? What are you doing wearing that hat in here? I'm in Michigan too, by the way. So yeah, we're pretty liberal over here, unfortunately, for the most part. You can find some rural areas where that's not the case. But yeah, it was crazy. I was like, oh my goodness, they're gonna they're gonna jump me up in here. But nonetheless, I made it out alive. I got to cast my vote. Republican ticket. I'm not shy to tell you guys, no Democrats. I didn't vote for nada Democrat, not zilch, nobody, no Democrat. I don't care if it was Donald Duck was running. I was not going to vote for a Democrat. Never again, because I'm unwoke, guys. The Democrats are woke. I'm not woke. She said, thank God I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. I know. Gosh, I'm so jealous of your governor, Mama Carol. You have no idea. If we had DeSantis here, things would be so much better. I'm telling you. Hello from California. I'm a Republican. How you doing, Manuel? Appreciate you. Guys, hit the like button. Share the video out. Yeah, I know, Lee. I know, man. I just wish that I don't know. I wish I can take back my vote a long time ago when I was thinking I was fulfilling a noble goal by voting. What the heck? Oh yeah, I got friends. He's like antagonizing me right now because of the whole election. He's like, "You sweating yet? No red wave, bastard." Anyway, yeah, man, I wish I could just retract my vote. Like, look, no, I want to take that vote back and put it back to, put it to Republic, change it. But you can't do that, unfortunately. So, only thing I can do is make sure I vote now in alignment with my self interests, God, family values. You know what I'm saying? Country, and of course, my right to bear arms, protect myself and my family. So, and Democrats, we all know that they're against that particular philosophy, which is why we are talking about communism. I want to show you guys that communism. Okay, so there are phases. Okay, communism it's really it's sister or cousin to socialism. So wherever you see the reigns of socialism, communism will soon follow. All right. So what is socialism? Socialism is just the redistribution of power. It's centralized planning for the redistribution of power, essentially. All right. So and with communism is just it's the state controls everything. They tell you how to eat, they tell you what to grow, how much to grow, how much you can make, and it pretty much decentralizes innovation. It completely removes the need and the desire to want to think outside the box, because what's the point? You're not incentivized to, because you're only going to make a set amount of whatever. That's why Canada's healthcare system is so bad, so flawed, and you have patients fleeing to coming to America to be seen by American doctors, because it's like it's a lottery system there, I believe, as far as their healthcare is concerned. They don't really have the specialties that America has, because it's all incentive. It's all decentralized. You know what I'm saying? But I want to kind of, where we at? So, guys, just in case you don't know anything about communism, all right? Communism is, all right, it's responsible for oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles of lives, deaths. It has killed millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of people. And it's an inconvenient truth that I think a lot of our young people, due to our failed education system, have completely, either they're ignorant of these facts or they are willfully dense. They refuse to confront the truth. Rather, they would make up they refuse to confront the truth of these evils, in lieu of making their own evils in their head, making them up in their head, such as systemic racism. um what's another one? Toxic masculinity, or the patriarchy. So, like I said, instead of confronting the true realities of the past, the true evils that has taken place in the past, and confronting those in order to prevent these things from reoccurring in history, they'll just make stuff up. They'll wail at the moon. Communism is more of a sister to authoritarian and to totalitarianism. Yeah, I agree. But again, a lot of typically the breeding grounds for a lot of these totalitarian systems is communism. That's usually the harbinger of that particular ideology. So, what boy Lee say? My boy Lee said, guess who was in power in the House and Senate in 1973, the same year Roe v. Wade was passed? Yeah, take a guess who's responsible for passing and allowing genocide in our community. Oh, yep. And it's so crazy, because if you go back and listen to some of the more militant Black Party activists, I can't think of what's the lady's name? What's her name? She used to wear the fro. But anyway, yeah, they were professed Marxists. They absolutely hook, line, and sinker gave rise to the communist movement. They supported it wholeheartedly. So that's why, I don't know, I always shied away from these militant Black groups, such as like Black Panthers and things like that, because they were in line with communists. And yeah, communism is evil. Let's talk about something else. So is communism moral? Communism moral? Is it moral to take from another, where albeit some rich guy who's making an exorbitant amount of money, like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, whomever, because of the goods and services that he produces? Is it morally right to take from them and redistribute their money across the economy to people who are less fortunate? That is the question. It's funny because the phase in which how communism arose to where we are today, it's the same tactic that they use. You got to remember, once upon a time, it was the what was it, the bourgeoisie against the proletariats, to the workers against the employers or the business owners, class warfare, which was the you know the Marxist doctrine. And then now it's the oppressed against oppressor, right? The oppressed. That's why, that's what the basis of the whole equity move push is all about, because they want everyone, they believe everyone should be on the equal playing field, which is untrue, because we're not all equally situated in life. Some people are taller, some people are shorter, some people are smarter, some people are dumber. So, they want to create this utopian worldview and pretty much cram it down everyone's throat. And honestly, it's not ideal. It's not probable. It's not possible. And anywhere socialism has ever been tried, it's it's either failed, or it's converted into something more egregious, such as communism. And let's talk about the deeds of communism, the evil deeds of communism. So, just want to talk about. Hold up. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that in the mic, guys. Where are we? All right. So communism, pretty much everyone shares everything equally. It keeps millions and millions and millions of people impoverished, without the exception. Without the exception, it has crushed freedom. That's what it do. That's what communism does. Excuse me. It crushes freedom. That means freedom of speech, freedom of property ownership, right? Freedom of the right to assembly, the freedoms that we are afforded here in America. Communism would stand in opposition to those freedoms. What else here? And it's really a lot. What you're seeing right now today in the side of our government, you see a lot of this sort of soft peddling of socialism. Yeah, it definitely takes God out of everything, Katerina. Yes. But you see them sort of like pushing this soft version of socialism. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but what's that old barnacle, that old freaking what's that guy's name? The pudding guy. Bernie Sanders, yeah. The guy that's like 935 years old. So yeah, he was that guy was a staunch democratic socialist, and he actually got garnered a lot of support. So the young, the youth are really starting to grab hold of this notion, this idea that socialism is probably a viable means to go forward, as far as what the direction of our country is headed. I mean, a lot of us one day, we're going to age out, and our youth are going to take over. And right now, because they don't know the sins of the past, and either, like I said, either they're willfully dense or they're completely ignorant, they're going to vote for this stuff. They're going to usher in this dystopian regime, and it's going to, oh God forbid, we're going to end up like Venezuela. But that is a potential. I mean, that is a possibility, guys. That is a possibility. Yeah, they're uneducated for a reason. Yeah, they are uneducated for a reason, and they're inculcated with these like weird virtuous equity, inclusion, diversity. I'm telling you, they're completely, what's the word? Um, they're completely just robbing people of their own free right ability to think for themselves. Socially engineering, yes, absolutely. So people can't think for themselves anymore. You're just spouting the same talking points of the group think, socialist regime. And like I said before, because they're not able to either do the research or confront the evils of the past, they'll make up evils of today that are just completely like abstract ideas that they perpetuate so much that they believe that are really actually impacting them on some level. Let me see here. What happens when the hardworking rich person gets tired of being robbed by taxation and just chooses closes his business, fires everyone and moves out of the country? Now where do you get the money? Exactly. Exactly, Dolores. What do you think is happening in California? There is a mass exodus in California. And actually, you guys, I want to play that video here. I still kind of wanted to touch back on a few things here, but I figured that's a good point. But here we go. Here we go, guys. So let me just give you guys an idea of how evil communism is and how many lives it's responsible for snuffing. So these are death tolls. I'm going to read you guys. Vietnam, 1 million. Eastern Europe, 1 million. Ethiopia, 1.5 million. North Korea, 2 million. Cambodia, 2 million. Soviet Union, 2 million. 20 million, excuse me. Yeah, 20 million. And these are all conservative numbers too, by the way. China, 65 million. 65 million lives, right? You'd think that with that much life lost, yeah, I know the end God does win, but you would think that this would be like, this should be at the forefront of our public school education, of our education in general. But no, you ask the average high schooler what the heck is socialism or communism, and they'll roll their eyes. They'll scoff at you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what that is. Or they're just like go brain dead or something. You know what I'm saying? Guys, hit the like button. You guys are hitting the like button. I appreciate y'all. All kids now have had their whole life attached to the internet instead of learning history so it doesn't repeat itself. Yep, they listen to woke influencers. It's so bad. I agree, Kazi. It is so bad, but we look. We have to be sanguine. We have to be the light of the world. You know what I'm saying? And look, God has given some of us, not all of us, the gift of discernment. So you'll be able to kind of like weed out those who are willing to listen and learn. Some people just want to sit there and argue with you and debate with you, mood points, and it's pointless at that point. But if they're open to learn and they're receptive to possibly being wrong about their entire worldview, then that's cool. Each one teach one. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna go back into what we were just talking about. But guys, I really want y'all to see this video of what's transpiring in regards to California. Because come on, let's be honest here. California is California is a cesspool right now. Homelessness is rampant throughout the state. Exorbitantly high taxes. I mean, come on. What is it? The average rent for like a 2-bedroom apartment? How much is it? Like $4,000? Like, come on. People are like, okay. And they're of course, if you make above a certain tax bracket, they are completely going to, they're coming after you. So, you know, if you're a millionaire, you're probably making on a high end, like your net income on a high end is probably like what, 250,000. I mean, that's still a lot of money, but geez, compared to being a millionaire. All right, here we go, guys. Uh-oh. So is Arizona when it comes. Yeah, well, hopefully, guys, with the election on the horizon, we can see a turnaround with that. Hope you guys went out and did the right thing. Said, and they keep voting for more. Yeah, so they're voting for their own demise. It's absolutely insane, isn't it? And not to mention, I'm sure there is corrupt money keeping people placed. Yeah, keeping them complacent. Absolutely. But let's play this right quick. Share the video out, guys. Share the video out.
Elder, he's a California guy of the moment. What's your reaction to this affordable housing topping $1 million per apartment?
Wow.
What's going on?
Well, it was one of the issues during my campaign for governor.
Yeah.
And as we pointed out, largely because of the regulations. We have something called CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, that, Stuart, basically allows anybody to stop anything for any reason for an indefinite period of time, which is why California housing prices are 175% above the national average.
Well, will California reverse itself and allow more homes to be built?
You know, what they do, Stuart, is they pass a whole bunch of programs to deal with the bad consequences of the bad laws that are already on the books, as opposed to dropping the regulations and allowing people to build in order to meet demand. No, they're not going to reverse anything. This is a state that used to be the headquarters of all 10 of the major oil and gas companies. It is now headquartered to none of them because of the regulations. Virtually every industry is being regulated out of business except for big tech. This is why people are leaving California for the very first time in 170 years.
The recall effort against Los Angeles DA George Gascon apparently gaining steam after 2 officers were shot and killed. The parents are blaming the progressive DA for their son's death. Is California beginning to wake up? I mean, if we say that the recall effort for Gascon is gathering steam, that implies that...
Okay, I'm not sure what that is, but hold up. All right, hold up. One second here. Okay. All right, here, guys. I want you guys to watch this too, because you're gonna see what's happening with Venezuela. Gosh. Venezuela. Venezuela. Anyway, you're gonna see how socialism and communism has completely turned what was once a very robust, prosperous country into where it is today, where people are basically eating dogs, right? And floating on 57 Chevrolet trucks on the trying to make it here to America. Check this out.
Todos estos meses, todo el tiempo de marcha por mi familia, por la comida, por el pueblo.
Siempre voy a estar en las calles luchando por la libertad de mis hijos. Y bueno.
La violencia del gobierno y la violencia del AMPA.
The violence of criminals, lawlessness. What policies are the Democrats pushing now, right? That basically supports lawlessness. What policies can you guys think of that come to mind that basically encourages criminals to break the law get out there, rob, steal, in a lot of cases, kill, defund the police.
Para tú salir a protestar, a manifestar, a defender tus derechos y aspirar a una mejor Venezuela.
Venezuela was once the richest country in Latin America. It has the largest known oil reserves in the world, and its democratic government was once praised worldwide.
Yep.
But today, Venezuela's democratic institutions and its economy are in shambles.
Shambles.
The country has the highest inflation rate in the world, making food and medicine inaccessible to most Venezuelans.
Yep.
Over the last 4 years, its GDP has fallen 35%, which is a sharper drop than the one seen during the Great Depression in the US. And the country's murder rate has surpassed that of the most dangerous cities in the world. These
lawlessness
conditions have
abounds.
sparked months of protests against the president, Nicolas Maduro, and it's easy to see why. The country has become measurably worse since his election in 2013. A poll showed that about 80% of Venezuelans want Maduro removed from office. But instead, the opposite has happened. Maduro has consolidated his power, bringing the country closer to authoritarian rule.
Yep.
Maduro's political ambition became evident in December 2015. 2 years after he became president, a coalition of opposition parties called the Democratic Unity Roundtable, or MUD, won a 2/3 majority in the National Assembly, putting Maduro's rule at risk. In response, Maduro quickly forced out several Supreme Court justices and filled
I don't know.
positions with
That's a
cronies.
good question, Barbara. I don't think it has. In my humble opinion, I mean, I get it. I mean, y'all have the right to protest, but I haven't seen much results from that. I just haven't. I can't think of anything offhand that was changed or any sort of, policies that arise out of a protest. I don't know. I don't think so.
Is loyal to him. In March 2016, the court ruled to strip the opposition-led National Assembly of its powers, a move that sparked massive protests across the country. The ruling was reversed a few days later, but the damage was done. Protests continued to grow and have left about 100 dead and thousands injured so far.
Kazi.
Despite the violence and public outcry, Maduro held a vote in July to elect a new governing body called the National Constituent Assembly, which would have the power to rewrite Venezuela's constitution and essentially replace the National Assembly and leave virtually no opposition to Maduro's rule.
For the fortune, welfare, well-being of a country.
With Maduro's recent vote, Venezuelans didn't have a say in whether the assembly should exist. They only had the option to elect its members. But when Maduro's predecessor, Hugo Chavez, proposed a constitutional rewrite in 1999, he first called for a referendum to propose the election of the assembly. After most Venezuelans voted yes, they then elected a new National Constituent Assembly. See, unlike Maduro,
is that
Chavez
right?
was a
Is that
charismatic
right?
and beloved leader. In the 90s, he burst onto television sets across the country. He blamed government corruption and Venezuela's elite for the economic inequality. His populist message resonated with the country's poor, who eventually helped bring him to power. The key moment of his presidency...
what people should be doing, Jenez, is people need to be voting on a local level. You need to be out there making change on the local level. I mean, actually, in all honesty, it starts at it starts at the individual level. So you have to unwoke yourself, basically deprogram yourself from everything you've been taught in public school or universities, the indoctrination camps today, and you have to relearn what policies best align with your self-interest as a human being, as your family, as your community, and overall society. So it really starts with the individual, then the family unit, then your local community, and then your society at large. So make changes at a local level, at a small scale. Those small scale changes really make a big difference on a wider scale. So people need to be more politically involved, a little bit more politically savvy. Just in general, in my opinion.
clemency came in 2004 when oil prices surged. Venezuela's petroleum-dependent economy started booming, and Chavez went on to spend billions from the profits on social welfare programs for the poor. He subsidized food, improved the educational system, built an enviable healthcare system, and reduced...
There it is. Look, guys, food stamps, right? Free college and healthcare for all. Those are, come on, guys. She said, Akazi said, 100% that's true, Neil. Too many people put their heads in the sand. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you, you have a moral obligation to speak out against moral violation. Excuse me. You have a moral obligation to speak out against violations against moral law. I'm going to say that again. You have a moral obligation to speak out against any violations you may witness against moral law. That's the problem. People act like, oh, well, live and let live. We shouldn't say anything. It's not really my business. What are you talking about? It's this kind of laissez-faire attitude that really, honestly, is what a lot of these Democrats and progressive liberals are taking advantage of, because they see people's not going to stand up for anything. The Christians, at least once upon a time, had a backbone, but good grief, Christians of today, oh my Lord, they're more milk. They are more milk toast and feckless as Mitt Romney. Yeah, they might get their feelings hurt. People are scared of a good, honest debate, and or just being able to stand up for their positions and stand their ground. People are afraid of that. Woke churches, yeah, absolutely. But I said this in my last live. If you read the book of Revelations, God basically tells us that the way the enemy will attack the mankind in general is going to be as if a scorpion attacks its prey. So again, if you pay attention to how a scorpion attacks its prey, it sucks out its insides, its entrails or whatever, what have you, whatever the insect may have inside of it, its guts and stuff, right? And it injects poison in it. Okay, so it injects its poison. So what's happening to us essentially is symbolically what God is saying is the enemy is going to indoctrinate us completely, take over our minds, our mode of thinking, and substitute it with a worldview, monolithic way of thinking, the collective, the communist regime, right? The right. All hail Hitler. Parents can start with going to their kids. Yeah, exactly. And voicing it to the principals. And then, man, I'm telling you, man, I don't know why. It was kind of weird, but I will get so many praises whenever I had to go to my daughter's school, and like, I don't know, because maybe something happened and she was being a distraction. You know, that happened a lot, but just the mere fact that I was showing up each time and corresponding with the administration via email, that, oh my God, you're so involved, you're so active. Oh, aren't you supposed to be active? What are we talking about here? Like, yeah, but just we don't see that often, I'm like, okay, got it. So yeah, so socialism, communism, and I'm using these terms interchangeably because I said again, socialism ultimately leads to communism. So when you start ushering in these redistribution policies, welfare, equity, and equity is a big one, guys. That's a big one, because that policy is very, very nefarious in its efforts to level out the playing field. Right? It's the idea that everyone should be entitled to the equal outcomes, no matter what position you come from in life. You should be entitled to the same outcome. Now that right there, that's an issue in itself, because let's just apply that logic to like medical professionals, right? If a doctor was to go to school, bust his butt for like 15 years, right? become a general practitioner, and he's like, well, I was kind of thinking about going back to become an ophthalmologist or something, like something I want to specialize in. Now, if we're in a we're in a communist society, that communist society, that government paycheck that doctor is going to receive is not going to change one bit, regardless if he becomes a specialist or not. He's going to get that same set amount. It's going to get paid at that same wage price. So it's going to de-incentivize people to want to. It's going to de-incentivize innovation. People are not going to want to think outside the box, and and innovate or build or create, because that's what it does. Like a scorpion, from the injection, the insides melt and they extract the inwards. Like so many mandated to have the injections that has done negative things to so many of their insides, including death. Well, I mean, you can, Julie, now I didn't say all that, but I'm sure you can certainly construe it in that way. I think it was more on a like a more of a spiritual thing, people of today in general are just weak. They are very, I don't know, feckless. They don't want to stand up for anything today. People just pretty much accept. No, I hear you, Julie. I hear you. I appreciate that. Oh, you domestic terrorist, you Kazi. Be nice, Barbara. Be nice. Oh my gosh. Guys, if you guys have not gone to my YouTube and subscribe, I'm seeing a few blues over here. Janaz, what are we doing? Katarina, what are we doing? Hold up, let me see who else we got. Trish, what are we doing here? You guys need to be over there, subscribe to my YouTube. All right. Don't make me call Big Brother on you. All right. They're already coming after me. Yeah, so under a communist regime, guys, so it systemically strips people of their right to speak freely, right? It strips you of your right to worship, start a business, to travel. It centralizes the media, so whatever you're consuming and watching, you're gonna be more likely and more prone to believing in what it's being, disseminated from the media source, from the government media source. Herschel Walker is still up in the polls. We're waiting. Oh gosh, come on, Walker. We got to do it. I got to do it. So guys, what do you think? Do you think Christ would be for communism, socialism? Does he advocate that the do you think Christ advocates for the government to punish rich people and use their tax money to help the poor? Do you think that's what Christ would advocate? I don't think so. I don't think that's something that Christ will promote, because Christ asks you on an individual level to take care of the needy and the poor and the widow and the orphan. I don't think he advocated for, I haven't read, at least in my King James Bible, I've never read anywhere where Christ is promoting state ownership of business. I've never read that. Hold up. And yeah, I mean, think about it. When he kicked the money changers out of the temple, now, was he mad at the money changers for engaging in commerce, or was he mad at the fact that these merchants were inside the holiest of holiest, the temple, conducting their business, right? Yeah, exactly, Julie. So that's essentially what I'm saying is that out of your own free will, you choose to give. I don't think government compulsion should be a factor in decide in forcing people to give freely. So that's what socialism is essentially advocating. So if you're in a room with five people, four people have have a dollar, and the fifth person has $5. Is it morally right to beat the person up with $5 and redistribute their money? Is that morally right? No, that's theft. That's theft, and that goes against the 10th commandment: "Thou shalt not steal." So when you're taking someone's wealth, albeit however rich they are, look, I'm fully support people who have made their money honestly, and they've grown and accumulated wealth in a very honest, you know, respectful fashion. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I'm not saying that there's not people who've come into wealth through evil gains. Now, those people should certainly be admonished, and they're gonna have their day. But, excuse me. But I don't know if my personal view is I don't think the government should force people to cudgel people into spending their money. The government should not have to force us to do anything. It's supposed to serve as checks and balances. It's actually supposed to protect the will of the people, not force us to tell us how to spend our money. I personally think it's good for the government to help, and again, help. I believe Christ would want for anyone who say they love him, bless others. Right. It should, you probably meant to say should not be forced, right? If you have the love of God in your heart, you would want to be a blessing. The church are too busy robbing people and not blessing them. Yeah. However, remember what he told the rich man. He told to sell all that he had and give to the poor and follow him. Yeah. Yeah. I actually think we should have a choice with our taxes as well. Once our basics are paid for, this way we can put our money in the fund what we really believe in. Absolutely. Man, wouldn't that be ideal? But I think, I don't know, our tax system today, I honestly think it's more so usury than what our taxes should be allotted for. It's allocated. I don't think they're being allocated properly. They're certainly being misappropriated by the shadow group. Again, back to what I was saying. So Christ Jesus advises us to be generous of spirit and show kindness, right? We have to show kindness to assist our fellow man. That's what we're supposed to do. It's our responsibility. It's not the government's. It's not supposed to be the government's responsibility. That's up to us, the individual, right? Your relationship between God is between you and God. Yeah. So, hold up. So, guys, I don't know. It really pains me. It really pains me to see so many of our young folk really start to embrace communism, and like I said, these leftist progressive types, they use a sleight of hand to trick these kids, these young feeble-minded people into believing that their intentions are good. And I'm not saying a lot of them don't have good intentions, but how's the saying? Good intentions pave the road to hell. Isn't that the saying? So, yeah, good intentions. So yeah, I want you guys real quick to see this. Now, have you guys ever heard of the kulaks? The kulakization. Now, this right here, basically, this group, this particular group, they were called the kulaks, and they came into they had accumulated a little wealth, of grain and things like that, and they would sell their grain and whatever crops they had, and taking a profit for it. Now the local peasants, they started to get envious because they perceived these the kulaks as being like, these rich elites, and that, and that wasn't the case. I'm gonna and ultimately it led to the death of 6 million kulaks, because there was an uproar, and it was really, and it was stoked by the government, mainly Stalin. All men will do what is good in their own minds. Lovers of self, calling evil good and good evil. Yeah. Yeah. And you guys, that's why you got to make the distinction. People like to say it's money that's the root of all evil, when actually, if you go back and read what the scripture says, it says the love of money. The love of money is the root of all evil. Go back and read it. It's that love, that power, the power that you have when money is at your disposal, But let me pull this up for you guys. Like the video. Oh, guys, you guys are really liking the video. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Ken, I'm talking to you, man. Talking to you. All right. Boo-doo-boo-doo-boo-boo. I'm just gonna play this, guys, because I think this is really gonna capture the meat of what I'm talking about, and what's kind of like the sentiment we have today as far as how people view the whole capitalist versus socialist ideologies. Scoop, scoop, stoop, do 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 do. All right, here we go. It's an animation, guys, so it's pretty cool.
And the kulaks are in trouble. Who are the kulaks? 1929, and the kulaks are in trouble. Who were the kulaks, you ask? Well, the kulaks were farmers, specifically wealthy farmers who lived in the USSR, whose leader, Joseph Stalin, didn't appreciate their acquired wealth or their objections to his policies. The policy that the kulaks particularly disliked was collectivization. This was the process of forcibly taking land from individual peasant farmers and combining them with others under joint control.
You heard that? Forcibly taking land from individual farmers and dividing it up so everyone has a piece. There you go.
The close watch of the government. These farms, kolkhozes, were ideally supposed to be more efficient and could produce much more food for the growing cities.
Right. So for the betterment, and that is the guys by which they will sort of tout out this whole idea of collectivization or socialism or communism. It's for the betterment of the people. And next thing you're going to hear is your secure. How's it go? Oh gosh, hold up. Give me a second. Oh, we have to impose such restrictive policies because of your security, for your safety. There it is. For your safety, right? So the betterment of the people and for your safety. Those are I'm telling you, those words right there sends a chill up my spine.
Shockingly, peasants who had been given their land by Lenin were unhappy at having it taken away from them, and so naturally they resisted. These people weren't given much of a choice, though, and many were either deported, beaten until they acquiesced, or were simply shot. Over the next 3 years, over 300,000 kulaks were deported either to faraway settlements or to work camps. So collectivization had one major flaw. It didn't work. Crop yields on collective farms were lower than individually held ones, and in 1931 and 1932, grain yields dropped precipitously. There were many reasons for this, such as bad weather, pests, and the fact that people with farming knowledge had just been sent to work camps. The decline in crop yields was particularly severe in Ukraine, which had seen much higher rates of collectivization. Shockingly, without crops, there was less food, and less food meant starvation and famine. Stalin was further embarrassed when Ukrainian peasants fled the USSR for Poland and quickly spread.
See that? They said, forget that. We out. We are out of here. And that's what you see what's happening in California. The rich, they're like, screw these policies. We're getting the freak out of here.
Spread word of the famine to the wider world. Side note, it's worth noting that the famine didn't simply affect Ukraine. It was widespread throughout the USSR, but mostly affected the South. So how
There
did
you
the
go.
Soviet government respond to the famine? The government created a bread ration for major cities like the Ukrainian capital of Kharkov, but those in the countryside, i.e. those who grew the food, were left with little. Interestingly, those who had previously been deported to forced labor camps were often given larger daily rations than those who
There you
worked on
go.
the farms
See
or
that?
lived in the cities. Lazar Kaganovich, Stalin's second in command, ordered Stanislav Kosyr, the leader of the Ukrainian Communist Party, to crack down on the peasantry. The government was concerned that starving Ukrainians fleeing Ukraine were demoralizing the rest of the USSR and would make collectivization and thus Stalin look bad. As such, the government chose to pull back on collectivization in Ukraine. And just kidding, they banned people from moving throughout the USSR and denied that any famine was happening. Furthermore, any discussions
Wow, there you go. Do the wonders of propaganda. They can completely trick, convince you to not believe in what your own eyes, what you can observe with your own eyes. You see that happening right now. My psychotic governor, Whitmer. Oh gosh, I really hope she loses. If she doesn't, guys, I don't even know if I'm gonna have the stamina tomorrow to do tomorrow's show. I'm just gonna be so pissed. But anyway. But she got on she did a video where she's like, yeah, so we're trying to protect the rights for persons who have a period. I'm gonna do a little TikTok on that too. It was so bizarre. She said protecting reproductive rights for persons who have a period. Are you talking about women? Oh no, we don't use that word around here. It's a bit triggering. Oh my god. Yeah, guys, everything's fine here.
Surrounding starvation was seen through the lens of it being a hunger strike orchestrated by Polish spies and Ukrainian nationalists. Also, during the famine, the Soviet Union was still exporting grain, and simply halting this or opening up the nation's extensive grain reserves would have alleviated a great deal of the suffering. Stalin didn't want to, though, since the money raised from selling grain was used to build heavy industry across the nation. This period, known as the Holodomor or the Terror Famine, continued until 1933, when crop yields began to increase and were able to feed the now much lower population. Estimates vary, but the death toll of the famine in Ukraine is considered by historians to be at about roughly.
You guys are aware. Listen, I'm telling you, the plan isn't fruition, guys. It's all about a matter of time. I thank God my grandmother had my black butt out there in that freaking field. she did. I'm not even gonna lie. I would be, and she had at least an acre and a half of land that was just solely meant for harvesting crops and all that. I'm telling you, I would be down there until from sun up to sundown planting crops. She'd have me doing that all day long through the sun. And you know what? I appreciate that more than ever now because I learned so much. I hated it during the time of when it was happening, but it definitely gives you a greater appreciation, and definitely it definitely gives you the knowledge that I think is going to be well needed in the coming years. I'm not trying to scare anybody or nothing like that, but it's best that you know how to, plant, grow your own fruits, things like that. Gardening. Yeah, absolutely, Mama Carol. Gardening. But now if anything goes down and you need to find a way to feed your family, you got the state. That's what they want you to believe. They want you to completely consolidate into the state. They want you to be a cog in the system.
Conducted a census in 19.
So yeah, no need to play the rest of this, guys. You guys got the point. But yeah, so all over history, all throughout history, you've seen the evils of communism reign and what is the devastation it's caused on mankind. So I would suggest, it's just a suggestion, that anywhere or anyone you may hear that is supporting this and who professes to be a Christian or believe in God, to just politely remind them, hey, you are advocating for theft. You are advocating for stealing someone else's property and someone else's money. That's what you're advocating for. All right. Communism is theft. It robs you of life, liberty, and happiness. Okay. Now, I got a few scriptures you guys can go verify. I'm not going to do that now, but, you know, God basically talks about it. And this is just for my Christian crowd out there. I mean, I know I'm not saying everyone in here is a Christian, but for those who are, go back and read Proverbs 14:12. Check out Thessalonians 3:10. I believe that's, the one if you don't work, you don't eat ordeal. In John 8:36, John 8:36. Check that out. Go back and read those scriptures and you'll see. So you know that God wasn't hiding in regards to this topic. You know, definitely didn't shy away from speaking his opinion about it, and laying down the law in regards to this. So guys, I think that pretty much wraps it up for tonight. I hope you guys got some value out of this. You know, if not, some entertainment value. I mean, sometimes, you know, I don't know. Sometimes you guys probably like, oh, what is he talking about now? Come on now. Like, what are you rambling about now today, man? Even if Big Brother wasn't watching you, you're putting your money in their pockets one way or another, unless you are 100% off the grid. Yeah, that's true. Guys, if you are on Facebook and you have not subscribed to my YouTube, you know what? I'm calling Big Brother on you. We're gonna have a problem. All right, you and I, we're gonna have a problem because there's no way in heck that you can that you have seen my content, been on my page multiple times, and you have not subscribed. We're gonna have a problem. Okay, I'm gonna seriously have a problem, big problem. So make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell. You know, every so often YouTube just unsubscribes, mysteriously unsubscribes, and turns off all the bells for everyone. So just go back and make sure you do that again, because I'm sure that you know, the suppression tactic is underway. So guys, you already know how we end this, right? You guys already know. Don't act like you don't. We are speaking truth. We are speaking truth and reality. And I promise you, we will reinstitute morality. Have a good night, guys.